Thanks for the coffee, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
You've done a lot for me, in which I appreciate a lot. You know, you do accommodate, my sleep-ins sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a lot more of those happened in, 2019 or so.
One time I thought you were dead.
Oh, my God. Yeah. I'm going to be going off to Overland Expo.
Okay.
Next week.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to be out of town, and there's just a couple of things that, you could you... maybe run a couple of errands for me?
For a fee? Yeah, I guess I could.
Well,
yeah.
Well, I'll take care of you. I've actually already supplied a car.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do I get to know what this car is?
No.
Oh. So, mystery game, okay?
I'm going to make it interesting for you. I'm going to make it worth your time in not paying for you monetarily, but more so in experience.
The interesting word makes me concerned, but okay.
I mean, it's just a couple of things. I need an audio cable for one of my speakers, and just a Costco, just a couple things at Costco and stuff. So,
okay.
Is this something doable?
Well, I mean, it sounds like you've already provided a car, so I probably got to do this.
Okay, I'll just meet at my place sometime over the weekend. I'll leave instructions and the keys for the car.
Okay, sounds good.
Cool. Thanks, man.
What on the... what on earth? Love Gavin? Oh. Okay. Wait, what? What? Gavin, you absolute pillock! How in the hell do I... I'm doomed. I need to write my will. I'm just beside myself. Oh, what on earth monstrosity have I gotten myself into? Can I even do up a British seatbelt? Hang on, he did tell me there's a problem. The ignition switch sticks. Okay. So I have to hold it. What the hell? Oh boy. This car is entirely too British. Whoa. Ah! Oh boy. Stalled on my first way out. Whoa. Oh my God. For those of you that don't know, this is a Reliant Robin, a British tripod of a car which was famously piloted by some bloke named Clarkson, who kept tipping it over for some reason, and whose older brother, the Reliant Regal, was bullied and avoided by Mr. Bean. Now, these cars aren't common here in the US, so getting to drive one is a bit of a special treat, which Gavin has so graciously provided me. However, my initial impressions were skeptical. Oh no. This is wild. It's loud, it's cramped, it's tipsy. I definitely am leaning right. Oh, I've been blinkering this whole time because I haven't been able to pay attention to everything. He told me a list of what I have to do with this thing. I have to go get coffee, I have to go to Costco, and I also have to go to a stereo shop, I think. This is gonna be hard. So much about this feels so absurdly wrong. Just the seating position is kind of a little questionable. The steering wheel is tiny, but I mean, when you only weigh just above 900 pounds, you don't need much leverage. The idle's definitely a little high. It is an old car after all. I don't expect things to be perfect. The clutch happens right off the floor, which is exuberated by the fact that the throttle is insanely touchy. Oh my goodness. It does have a bit of an exhaust leak. We're really trying. Go, go, go. Now, this car, despite the rowdy sounding exhaust right there, isn't fast. In fact, this being the 850cc model, I was lucky to have the 39 horsepower that I allegedly did. Who knows how many horsepowers have flown the coop over the years. Pretty much everywhere you drive this car, you have to use at least half throttle, if not more. That being said, Robin kept up with traffic fine, and even tackled Salt Lake's 400 South uphill S-curve with ease while maintaining 30 miles per hour, which enabled me to have my first experience going through an American drive-thru in a right-hand drive car. Now with coffee and bagel acquired, it was time to head towards my first big test, which would involve getting on the interstate for the first time. Now I think on this leg of the journey, I'm gonna have to brave the freeway. I am fairly uncertain about this. This should be fun. American Interstate. Here I come. It's the British invasion. $55. 60. 65! Oh my gosh! This is wild. It's loud. I don't even know if you can hear me at this point. I feel like I'm about to enter supersonic speed. I feel like I'm leaving the atmosphere. Oh my gosh! Groove freeways are terrifying. Okay, I'm getting off. Woo! Wow. That front wheel really likes to follow wherever the groove in the road goes. Holy shit. I mean, we almost hit 70. We were getting damn close. We've survived. I don't have to write a lawyer to adjust my will or have my parents take on all of my debts, thank goodness. That's thrilling. I want to do it again. Okay, now we're gonna head over to that audio shop. I have to buy a spool of wire for Gavin because he's been missing speaker wire for a while now. Hopefully they're still open. We made it. Hey man, what's up? Hey. So we have I think there was some speaker cable on hold for Gavin Paquette.
Let me look see.
Okay.
Paquette?
Yep, Paquette. Very French.
There we are. Looks like you already paid for it.
Sweet.
There you go.
Sounds good, man. Okay.
Hey.
Thanks a ton, man.
Enjoy. That's yours.
Even better. Okay. I'll see you later. Have a good one.
Good look.
Oh. Okay. Hell yeah. That is the proper way to start a car. And with that, I headed out for my next challenge, a grocery run. I'm trying to think, like, how much groceries could I realistically put in this? The boot isn't that small, but like, this thing only weighs around 950 pounds, and even with me in the front of it, there's like not that much space and not that much weight that I could take off my only steering tire. And between like the lack of sound deadening, you hear everything, and especially since this exhaust is a little borked at the moment, you really hear everything. I don't have any tunes to listen to. Going errands would be boring in a normal car, but in this thing, all I get to do is focus on how close to death I could come if I made a wrong turn. Or if I accidentally tipped it over. That wouldn't be fun. And it's about time that I address some of this cheap three-wheeled simplicity. In post-war Britain, cars were still a bit of a luxury and more scarce than they were here in the States. But many working-class individuals had a motorcycle license, and under UK law at the time, a vehicle with less than 4 wheels wasn't considered a car, and could therefore be driven with a motorcycle license, which was cheaper and easier to obtain. So Reliant took the three-wheeled vehicles they had already been producing, gave them 4 seats and a larger engine, and created a vehicle that served the working-class public with an ultra-simple, cheap, lightweight car that didn't have the pesky drawbacks of other cars, like having 4 wheels. Oh, and it was cheap. Pretty much everything about the Reliant is based on that one fact. Anyways, back to me as I arrive at Costco on a busy Saturday to see how useful the car really is. Costco is a zoo on a Sunday or a Saturday. Oh, here we go. Pulling up and parking next to a not-so-mini car with a mini car. Okay, time to Costco shop. So, because Gavin is a bit of a dingus, he forgot to do some shopping before he left. So I'm now tasked with doing that. I know he said he needed burritos and toilet paper. I'll have to check what else he needs. But yeah, a full big thing of toilet paper might be interesting to fit into the trunk of the Robin. I don't know how that's gonna go, but we're gonna find out. You know, so far I've enjoyed doing these little tasks, although this one's a little annoying, because the reality is it just works. I could see how it filled the niche of needing to be a car but not a car, for people that don't have licenses. It did that task well. You can fit way more than a motorbike in there. So it accomplishes what it set out to do. It's just scary as shit here in the States where we have high speed limits and stuff. It's definitely made for England, we'll put it that way. Wait, what? Hopefully I choose the right one. Why? I mean, granted, this was in short supply just a few years ago. For some reason, people thought that toilet paper was the apocalypse weapon, but you know how much I would have paid for this back in 2020? You would have paid $400 for some of the stupid scalpers with this stuff, but here we go. Okay. We're gonna see how this goes. Oh, how cute. The owner left us some goodies. We'll try toilet paper first. We'll see if the big ticket item. Oh, wow. Oh my. Okay. The Reliant Robin might actually be a bit more usable than I anticipated. Color me surprised. Shit actually fit. Wow. Okay. Leaving the big white building now. Absolute zoo in there. Here's the thing. Clearly, Gavin chose some of those items to screw with me a little bit to see what we could fit in this thing. Fortunately, none of them were heavy. I won't be doing wheelies on the way home. However, my drive home does consist of some actual legitimate freeway. The last freeway I did was just kind of on-ramp to off-ramp, only about a mile. Our freeways are not the smoothest in certain areas, which is what's making me a little bit nervous about getting on the freeway here, because this is kind of a little cloverleaf on-ramp. I don't know, though. If I lived in a city, I don't think I'd mind this. With this car in particular, if the exhaust wasn't quite as loud as it was, it'd be good. And if I also had some fresh air vents. I have noticed that on some of the other cars we've driven, like the original Minis, they'll have a little vent you can pop over without rolling down the window to get a little bit of air circulation into the cabin. This doesn't seem to have that. If I had those couple things and a radio, this would be hilarious to drive around town. Every single person just turns head the second that you approach the area and are either genuinely curious or terrified, I guess. I'm more terrified than probably them. Or they're just happy. Smiles abound everywhere with this thing. And that's a good thing. It's not that many cars that legitimately just make you smile with glee. And here's the on-ramp. Third gear. My foot is pinned. 40. 45. 50. 55. 60. Oh boy. We've reached an alleged 70. I can't believe I'm keeping up with traffic. This is so wild. It's so terrifying. I have to sit there and be very, very careful and precise with every single move that I make. I can feel it trying to pull and dart around. Woo! Hello, police, not for me. Even though it said 80, I don't think I was actually doing 80. I don't think it actually would. It's more composed than I thought, though. It's actually amazing that with how much you have to floor this thing to go everywhere, it still gets about 65 miles a gallon. That's wild. Forget about like Lamborghinis, forget about just the Rawson, forget about like all the terrifying cars. If you want to be like on edge every time you drive, you get one of these. Because you never know what's gonna happen. You can't control the road surface. When you only have one tire doing most of your steering and braking, things become quite interesting quite quickly. The carbureted engine, I haven't mentioned much about the engine and power. It's not as slow as you would think for only having around 40 horsepower. It does move pretty well. I wasn't completely impeding traffic anywhere, even on a hill. I was able to accelerate on some of the hills that I was on. When that wasn't the case with the original Minis. With the black Mini we filmed, it was fantastic. I loved to drive it, but if you were going uphill, you were most likely just maintaining speed, not increasing it. This thing, it actually increased. It didn't ever feel like I was truly wanting for power. Yes, I had to floor it a lot of places. Oh. I would definitely say you're using every ounce of the car every time that you drive it, because you can't do corners. So like the only worth this thing has is doing little errands like this. If you try to do a corner too hard, guess what? You're gonna pull a Jeremy. And I've actually gotten pretty used to like driving it now. The clutch, like I mentioned earlier, that's very low to the ground, and the extremely touchy throttle have become more friendly now. I don't feel like I'm a bucking bronco every time I'm setting off, which was the first few minutes. British cars, almost every one that I've driven, seems to have this weird little charm about it. They're kind of pieces of shit. They love to have problems, like this one and its little ignition problem, and they love to die occasionally. They have quirks, like this one has about the most quirks you could possibly imagine, only having a single wheel up front, but they kind of woo you in at the same time. That's not to say that it's not capable though. I've proved that. I've ran every errand, including a drive-through, picking up some cable, and even picking up a small grocery run without issue. I guess maybe it proves that especially us as Americans are bizarre and we think we need way more car than we do. If you want to just talk about needs, technically speaking, this hits all the needs with none of the flair. Not even the flair of having a fourth wheel, God forbid. It has a usable trunk area. People can fit, although I definitely wouldn't want to be much more than 6 foot and try to fit in this thing. You could have the kids in the back, have enough room for some luggage, gets good miles per gallon, relatively cheap to buy even in this day and age. Even importing one's not really that bad. It has pedals, it has a steering wheel, it moves in a straight line and in reverse if you need it to. It tells you if it's overheating. You have lights, you have a heater for if it gets too cold. Realistically, back to basics. Do you really need much more than this? Technically, no, but realistically, yes. The Robin fulfilled its original purpose seemingly quite well, and as I got more used to it, it wasn't as scary or uncanny as one would think. After some time, I've now realized that the Robin was a bit of an odd palate cleanser, in that it made me appreciate the accommodations we now have in cars, from safety to luxury. And although it's relegated to the butt of many jokes these days, it made me appreciate just how far we've come and how good we've got it. Thanks for watching.